recorded. There is a question box where you can ask a question, which will only be shown to us, and Rusty will get information back to you. You can also contact us if there's a more involved question at hpc-support@umich.edu. And this is being recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel, which is located here. We also already have some tutorials and stuff up there. So from the poll, I see that a lot of you are actually just on your own machine. A third of you are using Flux, and about a third of you are using. This actually applies to. What I'm going to be covering today applies to any Linux machine. These are just common commands. There's nothing special that has to be installed. You should already find these available. I have a terminal here. I'm logged into Flux. You don't necessarily have to do this. You can follow the examples if you want, but you don't necessarily have to. Okay, so I'm being told that I need to be a little bit louder. I've got the volume for my microphone up all the way. So I've SSH'd into Flux. This is a way of connecting to a machine remotely. You can look at our YouTube channel for videos on how to do that and using different clients from different systems. I should also point out that when logging into a system, there's generally not a limit of the number of times someone can log in. So many times I'll have multiple terminals going so that I can be viewing documentation on one or modifying code on another. So the first thing I actually want to demonstrate is the way files are organized on a system. And it's a tree. So let me actually draw something out here. So the file system tree actually is pretty straightforward. It's a hierarchy. So everything starts with slash, and then you can have a directory name, and then you could have another directory, and then you can have a file. And so this actually is a hierarchy. So you have this, and then you have, more than one directory in it, and then they can have multiples, and then they can have multiples. So what you actually want to understand is that a directory is analogous to like a folder or something like that on a Windows system. Files or directories can go inside a directory, and everything builds on top of that. So if I switch back to the system, I will actually show a couple examples of how this looks. So the very first command I use is pwd, print working directory. This just shows you what directory I'm currently in. So you'll notice here that I am in slash, so this is where it starts, and then I went down to no backup, which is a directory, and then into brocp, which is a directory, and slash tmp, and then another directory visit. So this is where I currently am. I move around between directories by using cd. This is a change directory. This can be used a couple different ways. I can do a full path, so I can do like no backup brocp. This is a full path because it started with a slash. Or if I wanted, because I'm already in this directory now, because I cd'd there, if I want to go into the temp directory, I can do just cd/temp, or no slash. And see, that puts me into that directory. That's the same thing as typing this. Gets me to the same place. So cd is how you navigate around. How you actually see which is in a directory, though, the command is ls. So if you type ls, in this case, anything that's in blue is a directory. So that's something that I can cd into. So if I wanted to cd into this visit directory, I would just do cd visit, and now I'm inside that directory. Okay, so once we've got files and stuff on the system and we know how to get around between directories, how do we create directories? Creating a directory is just mkdir, make directory, and then the directory you want to call. So if I want to have directory 1, now I have directory 1. I want to point out a really quick shortcut. Check this out. If I do cd/no and I press tab on my keyboard, it completes it for me. So this is a shortcut way, so I don't actually have to type everything out. I generally just type the first couple of letters and then press tab. In this case, if I type BR, there's more than one option with BR. If I press tab twice, it shows me all the options. So then I see if I add O, it limits my options. Okay, I'm the only one left, so it completes it all the way. This is a really, really handy shortcut for pretty much, it works about anywhere. So it just helps you get things done quicker, and you don't have to remember exactly how to type stuff. You can just remember the first couple of letters. Okay, so if I go back to this directory, so I have this file yf17cgns. This is a regular file. It is not a directory or anything. So if I want to move this file someplace else, I use the move command, which is mv. And the format is source, so in this case, yf17, destination. So if I want to just move it to a different directory, I can just give it that directory, and that moves it to that location. Oops, except I hit the wrong key. I didn't actually hit enter. Okay, so now it's not here, but if I look in temp, I'll see yf17 cgns right there. So if I want to move that back, I would just say move, and now I can again not start with a full slash. I can just type the directory name because it's in, because the directory I want to move it to is no backup brocp temp visit. So I can just do yf17 visit, and that moved it from the current directory to the brocp temp visit directory. Okay, so move is also rename. So if I do move yf17 to yf18.cgns, it just renames it. There's a question for, can you move a lot of files from another place at the same time? Yes, actually you can. It's quite easy. So let me do demonstrate the next command, which is copy. So I'll cover this in detail in just a moment. But I'll do yf19 cgns. So I'm actually just made a copy of the same file, but these files could have different data. If I want to move a collection of files, I can do like move yf star. If I press tab twice, it shows me everything that matches. Star is a wildcard, so this will match everything that starts with yf and ends with anything. If I wanted to do everything that ended in cgns, I would do move star.cgns. That matches everything that starts with that. And you can actually get fancy too. You can use multiple stars. And so you would do like move that to where you want to move it to, and that will move all the files that match that. So the same thing actually applies to copy. So if I actually do that move again, Rusty, do you see the questions?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. When in the chat box, or do you see them up in the Q&A?
There's nothing in the Q&A.
Oh.
Some of them appear as a separate chat, and some of them.
Okay, I'm sending them to you. If you can take a look at them. Do you see them anywhere? Does it pop up anywhere?
What question?
I showed as being assigned to, both being assigned to you.
What question?
If not matching directory, does it assume a new file name?
I cannot see that.
You cannot see that? Okay, we're gonna have to Oh, okay. At the Q&A,
Here we go.
you got it? Okay.
Okay.
Can you handle those?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Okay, yeah, we're going to get those questions handled here. The ones that are going to the question box, Rusty's going to handle those and get back to you on those. So there's another command. So move moves files and renames them. Move's actually higher performing than the next one, which is copy, because if you're just moving it from one directory to another, the data doesn't actually move, just the name of the data moves if it's on the same file system. So if you're on home, it's really quick. If you're on no backup and stay on no backup, it's really quick. If you do a copy, though, it actually has to make a new entry and copy all the data. So copy is what I used before, and it works the same way as move, so the same idea applies. So if I want to copy YF18 to YF20, no, I end up with 20 and 19. Oops. So copy duplicates things. So I can actually copy to another location. So I can copy the current YF18 to just a different location. And so that copied the file. So YF18 still exists in this directory, but now it also exists in the directory I copied it to because I copied it. So copy basically takes all the same options as move. The difference is just in the behavior. The original doesn't get touched and gets moved someplace else. So if you want to make a copy with a new name, you can specify a name. If you want to copy an existing file to a directory, you just say the file and the directory. You don't actually have to be in the directory the file's currently in to copy it. So say I move to a completely different location than the file I'm copying. I can do a full path to like different directories and stuff. So I can do something like this to say /temp on this computer, which is a local hard drive. And so even though I'm in home brocp, I was able to copy the file from my no backup temp space to temp on the local host. And notice here how these names are the same. That's fine because they're unique in the hierarchy starting from /. So you can have files with the same names, you can have directories with the same names just as long as they're in different locations to begin with. If they're the same name, then they match. Also, Linux systems are by default case sensitive. So YF18.cgns is different than YF18.cgns. Those are two unique files if they both exist because the uppercase means a different thing. Some systems, like Macs by default, are case preserving, so if you save it with an uppercase, it'll show it, but that actually would refer to the same data on disk. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it too much, but it can be an issue if you're using a Mac. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. So copying, or you can move and copy whole directories. So if I want to move an entire group of files, like an entire directory full of files, to a new location, I can do that too. So say I want to move this visit directory with all the files that are in it. I can just do move the directory name to the new directory name. Copy is a little bit different though, but you can do it. A copy has to, because move just changes the name of it to a new location. It doesn't actually move any of the data. Copy, on the other hand, needs to do something funky. So copy, I need to use the -FR switch. I like using F. All it does is, if the file already exists, it asks you if you want to write over it. I play kind of loose and dangerous. So if I want to copy visit to and make a complete copy of that directory, I can do that. And now it's actually copying every single file in that directory and making two directories. I'm actually going to kill this because this is going to take a long time. So notice how a copy is much longer than a move. Now, to delete files, though, use the rm command, and it looks a lot the same. So if I want to do rm file name, it deletes that file. The You can also do this for a directory, but again, because it has to go through every single file, you have to do the FR. So that visit directory that I started copying from the original visit2, I killed and didn't finish. If I wanted to get rid of everything, that directory and everything in it, I do rm minus fr, and that deletes everything that was in it and itself. So now there's only the visit2. There's now only the visit2 folder. So move files, mv, copy files, cp, find out where you are, pwd, move between directories, cd, and delete files, rm. Now, before I go too far, I want to show you how to check the documentation on every one of these commands. So there's a separate command that applies to every command called man. This stands for manual page. So if you type man and then the command you're using, so like if I type man cp, this brings up the documentation for the command. So you'll notice everything that's like -f, -r, they're all documented here. So you can see here like -f is force. If an existing destination file cannot be opened, remove it and try again. You can do interactive, which will do like, when you do a copy, be like, do you want to copy this? Yes. Do you want to copy this? Yes. Do you want to copy this? Yes. And so there's a bunch of other options here. Most of these, I don't use them. A lot of them, I don't even know what they do. But they can be pretty handy when it comes down to what you want to do. So man pages have all the documentation. So when I did like a copy minus f r, that's the same thing as doing copy minus f minus r, which is the same thing as doing copy minus r minus f. The dashes are options to the command. So it's copy with the option minus r, which is recursive, with the option minus f, which is force. You exit man by pressing Q. So if I'm in man, I can scroll up and down using the arrow keys. I can exit by hitting Q. I can also search by hitting /. Look down here at the very bottom here where I've got this / now, and I can search for something. So if I want to search for force, I type force and hit enter, and it will find force and highlight it. There's other ways to like scroll to the next found one and stuff. You can look at the man page for actually how to do that. So man pages give you the documentation for all the commands we're talking about here. Man pages actually document pretty much everything. There's even man pages for like functions if you're using a library. So like if you're using the MPI library for parallel program, if you use like man MPI send, this is actually gives you the prototype and the different options and valid entries for that function call inside that library. So in doubt, run man on it and see if it exists. If it doesn't exist and you're not sure what to do, contact us at hpc-support@umich.edu again, and we can help you out. Okay, one handy thing. So for making directories, remember the mkdir? Sometimes I want to make a bunch of directories all at once, like a whole collection of them. Well, the following does not work by default. So I want to make, dir1, dir2, dir3. That does not work because it only is going to try to make dir3 here. But there's a great option, which is -p. This actually will create everything. So now there is. This is something I just find handy so they can just do everything all at once. To then delete all those, just rm minus fr. And that deleted everything down inside of it. Okay, so we've been doing this for about a half hour. Is there any questions or anything specific you guys want to know about? I have some more advanced topics we can go into, or we can save those for another time. First one to say something wins. SSH commands. So there's an entire collection of, here, let me show you guys something. So this is our YouTube channel. We put a lot of, this is where we'll be archiving these videos and such, but there is a collection of playlists. There's an entire collection on how to connect to the machines using SSH, and there's entire collection of like transferring files back and forth using different command types. So I would recommend looking at those rather than actually going through them now. These should all be linked off of from our getting started page. There's like a tutorial here, which just takes you to our YouTube page anyway. The name of the channel is UMCOECAC. So that's a link directly to it there. But yes, SSH is like the very first thing you need to know to be able to connect to the cluster. If you're using one of our systems or if you're using someone else's like a NSF Exceed resource or a DOE resource or something like that. Are there any other questions? Okay, I think we'll actually stop here. If you have questions, you can send us in questions to hpc-support@umich.edu. We'll have another one of these approximately every 2 weeks. If there was a good format, please let us know. If it was bad or you had questions, please let us know also. And we'll cover some things like sorting information, how to find data in text files and stuff that you've used. So again, you can find us at the CAC website, which is cac.umich.engine.umich.edu. And there's a bunch of information on there. Also, follow us on Twitter. You can see it here on the left side of the CAC webpage. Twitter is generally the first place where we announce stuff. So we announce this tutorial on there. If there's a problem with the system, it generally goes there first because it's so quick and easy to broadcast stuff out on there. We also post information like Exceed, upcoming dates and stuff. So again, I think we are finished. I'm going to stop the recording now.